Tonight's video is going to be about doing the detail drawing of 4 of 24. This is an odd-shaped part that will require a rotated sectional view. And that's what I'm going to show you how to make today. So when we look at this part, 4 of 24, here we have it. Now in this drawing, it's partly done. If we look at the top view of this thing, it looks like this. This is with all the planes on. It is missing the keyway here. It is missing the front slot here. And so you might say, well, no, we cannot start the detail drawing until everything is done in our model. My answer back to you is, no, that's not true. It's okay. And from the last drawing we did, when we did 9 of 24, you noticed how you can modify an existing drawing, an existing model inside the detail drawing. Now you can modify a model and the detail drawing changes to whatever you do in the model. So the two interact with each other. So it doesn't matter when you start the detail drawing, is my point. So I always recommend when you are doing a model, of course you're going to create a detail drawing. You can actually start them in tandem with each other. You don't have to wait. You're not, oh, I got to finish the model, then do the detail. No. You can go back and forth, and it's okay. It doesn't matter. So please be aware of that reality. So here's our model. We want to create a new detail drawing, but we are lazy. We have some existing detail drawings we've already done. They're also in inches. So we have an opportunity to save ourselves some time. Time is money, money is time. Remember that. So here's the other drawing that we have done. And what I'm going to do is File, Save As. The reason I'm showing you this method is not because I don't know how to make a template, but it's because in our labs, you won't be able to make a template and save it to this computer because these computers won't save any of the changes you make to them. So your templates will disappear when you shut the computer down. Only if you're using your personal laptop will you be able to save a template the real way. In here you can't do that. So the easy method is to copy from a previous drawing. So what you do is you do a, let me make sure I do this correctly, File, Save As, and give it the new name, part 4 of 24, hit save, and therefore you can repurpose this drawing with all the modifications we had done to it, including its border, because we had customized the border, and then you can repurpose it for this next drawing. Same thing we did with the last drawing. The sheet now, let's go ahead and bring that part in just to see how it looks. If we bring it in 1-to-1, we're going to find out that it's very big. 1-to-1's not going to work. So, we could also realize we could bring in a different view as the primary view too. Because I think you all already know from the last projects, the view with the most features on it, that's going to be the view that you're going to leave in the drawing, and your sectional is going to be the other view. 1-to-1's not going to work on a size, so we'll change it. It's no big deal. Half scale, a little small. Maybe 3/4. Maybe 3/4. Maybe 3/4 will work. Let's find out. We're going to hit OK. This is an A size. So here it is. Now, everything else you can do on your own, detailing this out. That you can mess on your own because you know how to go in here, drop in your centers. That you could do manually, drop in, remember this guy, to drop in the center for here. All of that you can do on your own. It's always nice to do that before you do too much else. It's always good to have your centers in first, things like that. You are going to do a center. This one's going to be interesting, but it will drop at dead center. You notice that? That one you probably almost don't need because of the fact that you're going to do a sectional. I'll take that one out. Now is the fun part. Rotated sectional view. When you go to section, you pick the view, And you're going to do something unusual. You're going to go over here, you're going to drag your mouse out here, you're going to click here to here, and then of all things, you're going to position it here and drag past. You're not clicking, you're just dragging past it. Then you're going to click here. Right mouse button, continue. And it knows, this will be A, it knows that it's going to be a rotated sectional view. You don't have to specify it, it knows that. It already picked aligned. Notice that? It didn't pick projected, because a projected sectional view is not the same as an aligned. Aligned is the word they use for meaning rotated. Those two words are synonyms to each other. So when you click here, that is a full-blown rotated sectional view. You'll notice it's locked into that position of where this view is. See that? You can move this over, and it's okay if you do that. If you want to relocate these away from each other, like because you can tell that you could probably tuck this in a little bit, move it over, give yourself a little bit of space. If you want to do that, you have to break their alignment, which isn't a bad thing, it's just something you have to do. To do that, you click on the view, on the sectional view, right mouse button, okay, and when you see these, you've got different create views. You're not creating a view. You're not, that's not the break I'm talking about, by the way. That break is if I have a really long tube and I want to cut it and basically show it 3 inches long when it's really 10 feet long. That's a different kind of break. But when you look further down, you've got alignment. Okay? And then you're going to say break the alignment. Then you will just be able to move this independently of this. So you can position them more strategically in the piece of paper. Okay? And then the rest is detailing, the stuff you've already done. So here in this view, you'll notice that it's sliced. Why? Because it really is cutting through it. You accept that reality. Yes, in hand drawings, we already know this conversation. We've already had this discussion about how do they do it when they talk about formal drawings. If I do this in AutoCAD, I can make weird views that look like this. I can make weird views that look like this. I can't do that in Inventor. I can't do that in SolidWorks. No. Got it? It's a no-go. And there, when you cut through the part, it's like a saw cutting through it. It doesn't see that, oh, wait a minute, you're a rib. I don't want to show hatch lines for you. It is unable to do that. It is literally, boom, cutting through it. So you accept that reality. Can I change this? Sure. Bring it into AutoCAD and start fiddling more with it? Yes, I can always do that. But that's not, you don't move to a software product like this and take a Ferrari and then turn it into a Yugo. I'm Serbian, so I'm going to say that. Not trying to trash the car. Sorry if anybody hears that. It's not my intention. But it has a bad reputation. I don't want to take this and break it down and not use it for its power. Because remember what I taught before already. When you go and bring in retrieve model dimensions here, and I bring in all the, now granted it dropped in a bunch of crazy dimensions that I can't use in here. This I can use, this I cannot use. This I cannot use. This I cannot use here. This I cannot use there. This I can use. See that? See how I can pull out the dimensions I can use, but there's a bunch of them I cannot use? So there's a little bit of carefulness there. This I can use. See? You will have to eliminate those dimensions you can't use. Like any of these that are referencing objects you cannot see. Nah, cannot use it. Alright guys, so please keep that in mind. This dimension I can use. You will have to pull them out so where you can see them, of course. Clearly, that I can't use, this I can use. But again, back to that conversation, where should I put it? This I can't use. This I can use, but I need it somewhere logical. Now, why is it missing? See how, there it goes. See that? That I can use there, and this I can drag. Come on, you. Alright, fine, let's drag it out here. I'm trying to line these two up if you're not noticing. stop it. That you don't want it to do. That's really annoying. There you go. If I line these up, though, I'd rather do the opposite. This guy, I want to line this one, there you go, to that one. But I do have to drag the extension lines in. That's acceptable. See that? See how that looks? That's good. Now I am missing, for some reason, the half-inch reference here. Like I have it here, but I don't have it here. Not sure why. If I go up here, here's this view, right mouse button, retrieve model annotations, hit OK. Uh-oh, I did something wrong. Retrieve model annotations. Now we get out. Now I'm in the right spot. Hit OK, hit apply. Not OK. Hit apply. And then all these dimensions are in here. Then it's cleanup time. That's all it is. This guy. Do have to play with it a little bit to get it to move. Some of these want to move easily, some do not. Not sure. There we go. See that? Sometimes you have to coax it out of whatever it's stuck in. That guy, gotta pull it out of there. See, I have some dimensions that are fighting each other in there. So I gotta pull them away from each other. That's the 8 degrees. See that? That's your 8 degrees. There you go. See how you have to just fiddle with it a bit before it shows its correct spot. Come on, you. Just bounce the 8 back to the other side. You notice that? See, you will have to fight with it a little bit. Come on, you. There we go. I said go on the other side. It doesn't listen. It's like a teenager. No, just joking. There you go. Here's this, 45 degrees. And you just have to mess with it. Now, if I have a missing dimension, like I know I do, some of the features are this isn't complete. I've got some elements that need to be brought in here. The keyway. I can go ahead and open that part, and I'm going to do this very fast just to do it. So I'm going to make a relatively obnoxious looking object, so don't get too mad at me when you see me make this crazy looking object. I literally just make a quick object just to get the point across. I will try to make it somewhat accurate. Somewhat, not totally. Okay, why won't you move? So I'll delete you, and I'll delete you. And I'll make you project geometry, remember that? See how I did that? So make that coincident. That way it touches it. See that? That way I know the back wall's really hanging on to the back wall. I'm going to line up with this. That way I'll put in the correct dimension. If I can first go into dimension. There we go. Here to there. That's 1 point. What is 1/8? I'll leave it as 1.18 just to get through the conversation. And then this dimension is 0.25. Okay, you'll notice that something is not, see that? So something's not locked in. This and this are not locked into each other. Did you notice that? So if I make them parallel, boom. See that? That's where your constraints come in. Don't forget about those. Then I go to 3D model and extrude. Now I'm going to do a cut, and I'm going to say through all, instead of a distance, just all. Now, one thing you can't tell in this view is whether or not it's actually cutting through. So you always go to isometric to make sure it's cutting. When you hit OK, there you go. Save, and then the neatest thing is, of course, when you go over here, boom, it updates. Isn't that beautiful? That's the key. You want the two sides to update. And the other key is what? I want to pull my dimensions off my model. Remember that. So all those dimensions I dropped in, I'm not going to retype them in here. I'm not going to re-enter them. I want them to come in automatically. It's not automatically, just automatically. Okay, there's no magic involved. You just have to make sure you position. Well, now you got clutter. You got to move everything. Now you notice, is this acceptable? No, you can't put in dimensions inside your border. See, so you have to make sure you make room for everything. So if you find out you start running out of room, then you have to start thinking whether or not the scale's the good scale. Okay, guys? Come on, it keeps picking the view. There you go. So is this a good scale? I don't know. Okay, that'll be up to you to decide. Can you make it work? If not, that's fine. Can I rearrange my dimensions? You can't do this in hand drawings, by the way. You notice that? Here you can fiddle with this until you get it looking good. And then, of course, you can still have an absolutely gorgeous auxiliary view. Not you. Projected view, sorry. That's a nice... where's my... No. No. I guess... No, I don't want that. Let's see. Let's do a projected view down. What would look like a good isometric of this, guys? See how you can move it around all different ways until you find the best face? Isn't that beautiful? I'll let you decide. You decide what you'd like to, the isometric view. Because as you could tell, I could fiddle with it for a long time. And yeah, do I get a little picky after a while? Yeah, if you've ever done detailed drawings, you kind of get that way. It's okay. Now, one of the things to point out, if your sectional view is in the same scale as your primary view, and I'm pointing this out to you here only because we are going to run out of room, it looks like, and the word sectional, scale here is kind of getting in the way. Are you stuck keeping it there? No, you can move its position. You can move it down and out of the way. It doesn't have to be right underneath center. The other thing that you can get away with, especially if it's exact same scale, this is the only time you can get away with this. You can double click on this guy and you can actually take out that scale part. This is the only time you can do it, is when it matches the scale of your primary view. It's a no-go if they don't match, all right? The only time you can eliminate that second line of scale reference is only if the scale of your sectional view matches verbatim to your object, okay? To your primary view. It's the only time you can do this. And that does give you a little bit of latitude, so you can move that down a bit and you'll have more flexibility. Cool? And that's it. That's how you would do a rotated sectional view. The rest is just detailing, stuff you've already done. Just don't clutter the drawing. This drawing is nowhere close to done. As you can tell, I'm stopping at this point, because the rest is pure detail work. Okay, so that's how you do a rotated sectional view.